Well, hello and welcome once again to the DCL podcast, where we're inviting you to sit back, relax, and we'll be on our way shortly.
Well, welcome back to the DCL podcast, your podcast to cruise a little smarter. I'm your host, Lake, and I am joined by my co-host, Christy. Christy, how are you today?
I am well, Lake. How are you?
I am doing pretty good. Excited for this episode because we have a certain ship that definitely needs a little love.
I know. We haven't talked about her in a while.
I know. The good old Dream.
The Dream.
Yeah.
Which I think used to be the ship that so many people sailed on the most. And now she's just sort of not finding her footing, I feel like, a little bit. And so I feel like she doesn't get sailed on as much. This is exciting.
Yeah, well, she doesn't really have like a sister ship to accompany her down in Fort Lauderdale right now. So she's kind of just down there alone. She needs a friend.
She does need a friend. I'll be on her next summer, though. So I'm super excited to get excited about the Dream again.
Yeah, I don't know the next time I will be able to get on the Dream. But why don't we jump into the sailing and welcome our guest to the show. This week, we'd like to welcome Amanda to the show. Amanda, how are you today?
Good. How are you guys?
We are doing pretty good. Thank you so much for filling out the Be a Part of the Show form and agreeing to come on and talk about your sailing.
Absolutely. I love you guys. I listen to you guys every week.
Oh, thank you.
Of course.
Well, why don't we begin by telling our listeners a little bit about your Disney and cruising background?
So back in 2023, the housing market was really hot. So we sold our house to make a profit. Then we had money left over. So we're like, you know what? Let's go on a Disney cruise. We live in Oklahoma. So we traveled straight to Galveston, went on the Disney Magic for 4 nights. I think it went to Cozumel, came back, loved it. Got addicted right away. And then we just went on our second sailing on the Dream at the end of July. And we're looking to book another one next summer, hopefully.
You know, some friends of yours, some new friends here, have a podcast cruise next summer. You could join us on the Destiny.
Okay.
Just saying.
We thought about the Destiny because we've done the Magic and the Dream, which we love the classic ships. And so now my husband's like, can we try a new one maybe? Like with, he's a guy with girls with like the Marvel. I'm like, yeah, for sure.
See, something to consider. Throw it out there. July 18th.
Okay.
So you said you traveled with your family. How old were your girls at the time of the cruise?
So 7 and 12, 2 girls.
And what made you want to book this Dream sailing out of Fort Lauderdale?
Okay, so when we went on our first cruise and on the Magic, I had no idea what to expect, had no idea what Palo was, had no idea that Disney even did like private islands. I had no idea there was DCL podcasts. I'm like, oh. So then when we came back, I have a twin sister. She just came back from Disney World at the time. She's like, that they have DCL podcasts. I'm like, what? So I started listening to you guys right away. And it's like, oh my God, Disney has a private island. Oh, Magic doesn't go out there at the time. I'm like, okay, well then let's go to Florida. So we went on the Dream and then Lookout Cay was available. I'm like, let's go to both islands. So we knocked it out and loved both of them.
A great reason to pick a Dream sailing and this sailing specifically. Well, before we get to the port, what activities, now that you have all of this found DCL knowledge, were you able to book in advance?
So on the Magic, we did the Royal Gathering. Girls loved it. So we did that again this time. And then we did Palo dinner for the first time, which is great. And then we also we wanted to do the Stingray adventure on Castaway, but sadly that got canceled because we went to Castaway. I guess there were like 15 to 20 people that went to lifeguards and were like, we got stung by a jellyfish or we saw a jellyfish. And I'm like, oh, so by the time we went and checked in, they're like, oh, we canceled it. I'm like, oh no, but there's always next time. Maybe next time.
You just have to do it again.
Totally.
It's your vacation. You have to do it as you wish. But I don't totally mind people missing excursions their first times at each of these islands so that they can really experience the island, not have to feel like they have to rush to an excursion. So the beach, you can have a perfectly good beach day without adding things on.
No complaints at all. It was wonderful. We had a great time.
It's great.
Well, let's get into it. How did you get down to Fort Lauderdale and get to the port?
We flew on Southwest, so from Oklahoma. We had a layover in Houston straight to Fort Lauderdale. Easy. No flights were canceled.
And did you stay in Fort Lauderdale the day before or did you fly in the day of?
No, the day before. So also 2 years ago, I had no idea what I was doing. So I'm like, a short flight from Oklahoma to Houston It's like a little over an hour flight. I'm like, we flew in the day of. And then people are like, don't ever do that again for like, okay. So, I mean, thankfully nothing got canceled 2 years ago. So I'm like, let's just fly in the night before. Since it is Florida, we're traveling a little bit further. So we flew in the day before, spent the night at the embassy suite, and then got on board the next day. Very easy.
And how did you feel with the embassy suites?
It was fine. We got in probably around dinner time. I think we just walked to like Outback. My husband wanted a steak, whatever. And so the girls were tired. So we ate and then went to bed. And then the morning they were hyped, ready to go in their Disney ears. And I think there was a shuttle and they got us around 10:45 and then we went to the port.
Oh, perfect. And that was a shuttle provided by the hotel?
Yes, correct.
Did you book that in advance or did you book it once you got to the hotel?
Once we checked into our hotel, I'm like, oh, well, this is perfect. So, very smooth.
Awesome. Well, what did you think of the embarkation process? A little bit of a different port setup from Galveston.
Oh, magical. Like, I loved the Finding Nemo theme. The girls loved it. We're silver now since it's our second cruising. So, like, I had no idea there was, like, a separate line. Like, oh, you're Castaway Club. You can just go on it. And I'm like, me? Talking to, okay, let's go.
You get to board the Disney Dream for the first time. What was that like for you and your family?
Oh, magical. I mean, we have from the spring until like the beginning of summer, they were watching YouTube videos on the Dream and listening to you guys and like, oh my gosh, like it's 40% bigger than the Magic. There's going to be more stuff to do. And also there's going to be way more people. And it's the last week of summer, so be prepared. It's going to be crowded. So we were prepared. They loved it. I mean, when we got back, I'm like, which one would you prefer? Like, the Dream, it's bigger. I'm like, okay. So, but I love the Dream. It's magical. I don't know why so many people don't like it now. It's really sad. I would go back on in a minute.
I don't think people necessarily don't like the Dream. I think that for whatever reason, compared to the Fantasy wins for theming maybe. But the Dream class is so great. The adult areas are incredible.
Loved it.
Like, I would say there's nothing inherently bad about the Dream. The Dream is an amazing ship.
Well, you get on board. Where does your family head first?
So when we got to the port, I already had the DCL app ready. It's like, okay, where are we going tonight for dinner? Oh, what's going on right now? So like, as soon as we got on board, I'm like, hey, we're already on deck 3. They already announced us. Goofy's upstairs on deck 4. Let's just get in line and wait. Let's knock it out. So they
Nice.
stood in line for like 10 minutes. Then I'm like, oh, there's an open house for, kids club. Let's go ahead and register there. So we went up to deck 5, which is just the deck above. And we were like the 4th family in line waiting for them to open it. It was super quick. We went in, girls got to explore, and then we went to Cabanas for lunch.
I love that. I don't know that we've had somebody in at least quite a while or share that went and did a character meet and greet when they first got on board. That's amazing. Now, does your family do the photo package?
Yeah.
So then after lunch, did you go and check out your cabin?
Yeah, we went around and our cabin was ready. We got an ocean view deluxe family veranda. So that was great. We were on deck 9. Loved it. Unpacked. By the time we unpacked, it was ready for our muster drill. And that's the only thing that I feel like a lot of people will say it's a little inconvenient. It's not on their phone. You have to go somewhere and you know what I mean? You have to wait on people to get checked in. So, but it really isn't bad. I think it's just going from the muster drill up to like the sail away party. People are like herding like cattle, like trying to get up to deck 11. But people were waiting by the elevators. I'm like, we're just going to climb the stairs. Let's go from deck 4 to 11. But it was worth it.
Good for you guys. You guys are troopers.
Yeah, I was like, let's go, let's go. My youngest one was like, I'm tired. Can we stop at the elevator? I'm like, no, keep going.
Well, then let's move into the sail away party, just a little bit different from the Magic. What did you think of that?
I thought it was wonderful. So when we were on the Magic, we were like up on the balcony, I think on deck 10 at the time, and got a faraway view. It was still great. Anywhere you go, you're not going to get a bad view. But this time we went on the Dream. The girls like rushed and got right up close to the stage and just sat there. And then my husband and I were like, they have like a rope caught up between the children and the adults. So like we were literally right behind the rail, which is great. And husband got a drink. I got a drink. The girls were just living their best life waiting for the characters to come out.
Awesome. Well, you do that. How did you spend the rest of your embarkation day then?
Embarkation day. So the girls wanted to just go to they wanted to do the aqueduct. That's all they've been seeing on YouTube. So I'm like, you guys want to stand in line for 30, 45 minutes, that's on you. So they did it. They're very strong swimmers. So I'm like, my oldest, I'm like, watch your little sister. Like, you're good. We're going on the other side. We're going to the adult only pool. So me and my husband went to the adult only side. We would occasionally like check on them every hour. I'm like, oh, we just got off. We're going to go again. I'm like, okay, then we're going back to the adult only pool. We'll see you in like 30 minutes. We'll check on you. So we did all that. I think the first night there was like a magic show. I asked the girls if they wanted to go. I was like, no, we just want to be on the pool deck and find characters to meet it. Because before we left, we bought like a frame from Etsy or whatever. It says Disney Dreams. So like the characters can do their signature. So I'm like, they wanted to do that. I'm like, great. We had late dining. I love late dining. My girls are older, so like it doesn't bother us. We eat about the same time at night when we're home anyway. But loved it. We loved our serving team. We were in Enchanted Garden the first night. Magical. They loved it. While the dinner was waiting, on deck 2, they have where you check in for the detective agency game. So my little one and me checked it in and got started right there. But it was wonderful.
Let's go ahead and roll with dining for the trip. How was your rotational dining overall? What were some highlight meals and your thoughts on the restaurants on board the Dream?
I loved Animator's Palette. I've loved it since we were on the Magic when they do the Fantasia version of it. The pasta pursuits, oh my gosh, amazing. My oldest daughter really likes seafood, so I think the first night we were on Animator's Palette, she wanted, I think it's like the crab avocado staff for an appetizer. Tried it. Then she saw I had the pasta pursuit. She's like, can I have that too? I'm like, yeah. So Jacob, ours was like, yeah, you want another one? I'm like, yeah, I do. So that was probably our favorite meal. But we didn't have a bad meal. Everything was great. My girls aren't picky. We're not picky. They were just super thankful that we were able to go on this trip.
Oh, I love that.
What are your thoughts on animators in Classic versus the Dream Class ship?
So I think they thought that Crush was going to talk to them more. We definitely got a table like right by the screen, which is amazing. But he talks and swims by like for like 10 minutes, maybe 20, and then the show's over. And they're like, oh, well, it's like they like thought their Finding Nemo character coming out because they were used to the Magic. They saw Disney, Mickey Mouse come out, and I'm like, no, there's not going to be any live shows on the Dream. They don't do that on this ship. So, but I was like, hey, we had family time. That's the only time I really get to see them because, we went to the Broadway shows, which is great. But other than that, throughout the day, my 12-year-old wanted to go to Edge and she had already made friends. And then my youngest kept asking to go to the kids club. So I'm like, let's just enjoy family time for dinner. That is our time together. So, but they had fun. We had fun.
Did your 12-year-old go to Edge the first night?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we walked her in, checked her in. She's like, okay, I'm checked in and registered. Y'all can go now. I'm like, okay, see ya. So we went to, district every single night. My youngest wanted to go to the kids club every night after dinner. My oldest wanted to roam the ship with her friends and go to Edge. So it was like, and I tell people all the time, I'm like, Disney cruise is really like, it's a family vacation, but it's also a couple vacation if you're married, like, honestly. So I feel like we had date nights every single night. Besides Palo dinner, we were in a different bar every night or watching a game show, or it was wonderful.
How did you communicate with your kids when they were in the kids club?
So my husband and I both have iPhones. We downloaded he had the DCL app too. I know the kids club, the crew, if our daughter needed us, they would message us, but that never happened. She's almost 8. So she's like, just come get me when you're ready. I'm like, okay. So literally at like 11:55, like, oh, we got 5 minutes to go get her. So we would get her and she was like, yeah, I had fun. I did this and this and this and this. And it was great. And then my oldest, we would just tell her like, hey, everything basically closes down at midnight. So meet us back in the room at midnight. And she did. It was great. And she doesn't have a cell phone. So I'm like, the time, just ask a friend or whatever. Just keep an eye on the clock. Meet us back in the room at midnight. It was great.
Did either of them mention any like activities that they did in either of the clubs that were highlights for them?
So my youngest said throughout the week they had like, surprise character pop in. So like Goofy or Mickey came in and did a dance party. And then I think there was one day like Belle had come in and did a story time. She thought that was great. I think my oldest said like when she was roaming the ship, she saw like Ariel and Tiana just roaming the ship. So she would go and say hi and get their autograph. So cute little Disney magic touches. I loved it.
Love it. I am going to circle it back to dining real quick, just so we can wrap that up. Where did you find your family eating their other meals throughout the day?
Cabanas for breakfast and for lunch. They love the buffet. There was one morning for Nassau Day, we did do a sit-down breakfast at Royal Palace. But other than that, it was cabanas.
Awesome. And you and your husband got to share a lovely meal at Palo dinner. How was that?
Oh, wonderful, magical. Everything was just top tier. The only thing I didn't realize, and maybe I should have researched more before we got on the ship, I really thought the chicken parm was served at dinner time. So when I asked our server, she was kind of looking at me like I was done. She's like, no, that's a brunch item. I was like, I literally had no idea. I thought brunch items were just like the waffles and the eggs Benedict and stuff, like the breakfast food. But I'm like, oh, but that's something to do next time, do it Palo brunch next time. But it was wonderful. Great meal.
Yeah, unfortunately, two very different menus, but both of them fantastic. What did your kids do for dining that night when you did Palo?
So we had talked about this. I'm like, hey, we did Palo dinner on pirate night. So, and our dinner reservation was at 7. I'm like, you guys don't have to go down until 8:15. So they went up to, I guess, the pool deck. They have like a pirate night, like dance party or whatever. So they went up there. Then they went straight to Animator's Palette. And by that time, we had told our servers, hey, this is the night we're not going to be here. Our girls will still come or whatever. They took great care of them. We were done with our dinner by like 8:45. So like they were just getting their entrees whenever we came in and met them. So our servers were very sweet. They're like, do you want anything? Can we get you anything? I'm like, I'm so full. And then my youngest ordered mac and cheese and she barely touched it. And I'm like, why aren't you eating your fish? I'm just not hungry. So our servers very sweetly, did we do something wrong? Are they okay? Do they not? Can I get her something else? And I'm like, let me ask her. And then my oldest basically, she's like, no, Mom. She had 3 ice creams up on the pool deck before we came down. That's why. So I told our servers and they were like a little really like, oh, I thought it was us. I'm like, absolutely not. It's not you. It's her. She knew what she did was wrong. Okay. But
good on her. Good on her enjoying her night.
Her 3-hour dinner. I'm like, okay.
Mom's away, the kids will play.
Seriously. One's nice and one is naughty.
Well, let's go ahead and move into activities around the ship. You had already mentioned that your kids had signed up for Midship Detective Agency. Did they get to go around and do that often?
Yes. So the day we had a Nassau day, we were like, I don't have a desire to get off the ship, especially when we had just one day at sea. So I'm like, let's just explore the ship and just enjoy being on the ship that day. And half the ship's going to be empty anyway. So my husband and my oldest love Marvel movies. So whatever newest Marvel movie was out, I can't even remember the name of it. After breakfast, they went to go see it. It was like a 2.5-hour movie. So I took my youngest and I'm like, let's go around and finish the detective agency game. So that was the time where we got to fill everything out and we got done. By I think we had 2 left. And she was like, I'm tired. Can we quit? I just want to go to the pool. I'm like, absolutely not. We are finishing this thing through, baby. So we finished it, but it was fun.
Love it. What other activities did you get up to around the ship as a family then?
Family. So we went to all 3 of the Broadway shows. Loved that. Other than that, it was a lot of pool time when we were on the ship. We went to a family, I can't remember what game it's called, but we went to District Lounge one night and watched, I can't even remember the name of it, but it's a very family-oriented game where the parents ask questions about the kids and the kids have to answer and vice versa. So that was fun. But other than that, they just wanted to be on their own and do their own thing throughout the day. I'm like, okay, so we had a lot of time up on the pool deck on the adult only side. It was great.
Yeah, I think that's Do You Know Your Family or something along.
Correct.
Well, then when your kids were in the kids clubs, what activities did you and your husband get to do?
So there was a couple of days we went up to the gym. My husband does CrossFit. It's like, let's get a workout and we're eating all this food. I'm like, okay. So we did that. A lot of time on the pool deck. We went to Cove Cafe probably every morning. Got specialty coffee and treats. So that was fun. And then sometimes if the girls didn't want to come back, we would check on them. Like, we don't want to go back. We would just go back to the room and take like a power nap. Because, when you're on a cruise, you want to do all the things at 7:30 in the morning through midnight. But very relaxing.
There is no better nap than a cruise nap.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Real quick, circling it back to the 3 shows, which was your favorite?
Okay, I know people don't necessarily like this one, but I loved Golden Mickey's. That was my favorite one. I think it's just because the nostalgia. I'm 40, so like seeing Beluga the bear up there with Woody and like, bringing in Mickey Mouse and Peter Pan. I'm like, oh, and then you got Tiana, and I'm like, that was by far my favorite one. Believe was probably my second, but like I had heard on, was it another Disney podcast? They were like, I can't get on board with like a 30-year-old woman playing like a 10-year-old kid. I'm like, I totally get that. So ever since I heard that, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's kind of, and anyway, but it was still a great show. And then the girls love Beauty and the Beast. I made them watch it before we got on the ship. So yeah, I love the creativity, everything that they do with the Broadway plays. It's top notch.
And then you went to the adult only shows as well, you and your husband, right? In the evenings or activities?
Yeah, so we watched Match Your Mate with a couple families that we were sitting with on our dining. Like, I love how Disney does it too. Like, family of four or whatever, we have a 7-year-old and a 12-year-old. So we met a family from Tennessee. They have 3 girls. 2 of them were my oldest daughter's age, so they got along very well. Love the family. And then on another side of us was a family from a Moroccan family. So they had a little girl around my youngest girl's age. So we got the best of both worlds. And I love how Disney does that. It's very sweet. But we got to hang out with them. So the night we all did Match Our Mate, like both those families were like, what are you guys doing after dinner? What do you guys want to do? I'm like, let's go do this. So like they would all drop the youngest in kids club and all the older girls would go off and do whatever. So we got to hang out with them quite a bit every night. It was fun.
I love that. What was your favorite adult game show?
Watching Match Your Mate. The last night we did the girls and I did the farewell party. And loves playing games and he's complains like, I'm going to 80s trivia, meet me there. I'm like, okay. So by the time I got there that last night, all I saw was like women versus men, like on a standoff with 80s trivia, which is great. And I walk into the district, I think it was in Evolution, and my husband's doing push-ups. I'm like, what did I just walk into? But it was great. The crowd was going wild, cheering for the women. Some were cheering for the men. That was our favorite part, was 80s trivia.
Sometimes those adult only activities just get unhinged and they are amazing.
Oh my gosh. They did end up making everybody do like a soul train line. So we all got in line on the stage and did a soul train. So I'm telling my husband, like, what should we do? Should we do like, the lawnmower? Should we do something stupid? He's like, no, you do your thing. I got my own thing. I'm like, what is, so you're going to have to wait and see. I'm like, okay. So I just went up and I danced at, Madonna, Vogue. And then by the time they called him, he just went out and just ripped his shirt open. I'm like, what is wrong? And the crowd went wild. Oh my gosh. I'm like, can I? And I videoed it from his phone. And he's like, never show this video to anyone. I'm like, please, it would be so good. He's like, no.
What space or activity aboard the Dream surprised you the most?
I'm trying to think. I think the adult only section, because when we went on the Magic, it was fine. It was great, and intimate and very a cozy spot. But the Dream, I'm like, oh, you guys have 2 decks that are, adult only. So I think I like that the best.
Any other notable spaces around the ship that you enjoyed, either with your husband or with your whole family?
I liked on the Dream versus the Magic, they have, that little cafe in the middle of the atrium on deck 4. I'm like, that's very convenient. So that was fun to do as a family. I honestly thought the adult only section, like the district lounge and hold, like that, it was a better entertainment versus on the Magic, which I get the Magic is the oldest and it's the smallest ship. It's still fabulous, but I'm like, if I had to compare the adult only sections, it would definitely be the Dream. So,
honestly, to me too, that Dream class, the adult only areas, both on the pool deck and the lounges, yeah, they're superior to any class of ship.
That was our favorite.
Well, I love that you got to utilize them so much too. So family vacation and still adult only time. I love that.
Well, let's go ahead and move into your ports. We already mentioned that you did not get off the ship in Nassau, right?
Correct.
Which was first, Castaway or Lighthouse?
It was Castaway on day 2.
All right. So we have 2 private islands to discuss. First time at both. Let's get into it and discuss Castaway.
Okay, we love Castaway. So the night before, we were like, hey, girls, we're going to get off at Castaway. Do you guys want to sleep in a little bit and order room service for breakfast, kind of take our time? Or do you want to go to Cabanas and get your dang Mickey waffle? And they're like, Cabanas, we want a Mickey waffle. I'm like, fine. So got up early, By the time we left, I think we literally got off the ship at like at 9 o'clock in the morning. So my husband's like, let's do the 5K. I'm like, okay. So the girls, again, great swimmers. And Castaway, it's a very shallow. There's not a high tide. There's not a whole lot going on. So we found a great spot, put our stuff on there. Girls went straight into the water. I'm like, watch each other. Don't do anything stupid while we're gone. So we did the run, came back within like 45 minutes and they were still there. And then the rest of the day, we just hung out, met both of the families that we sat with at rotational dining and hung out with them. And then at that point, we had no idea that the jellyfish thing was going to, affect our
Stingrays.
Thank you. So by that time, it was around like 3:34 and like, let's just go ahead and get back on the ship. But, I mean, it was a beach day. It was relaxing. We went to Pelican's Plunge, loved Cookie's Barbecue. The ribs were amazing. They did the character dance party. So we got to hang out and dance with Mickey and Goofy. And I'm trying to think what else we did. No, that was really it. I feel like if we had to choose the two, the girls and I would say Lookout Cay by far was our favorite. But Castaway was still wonderful. The next time we go, I'm probably not going to do the 5K again. It was so unbelievably hot. And I knew that going into this, like, the tropical humidity's on another level. But it was great.
How did you feel Castaway fell within your expectations of what you knew for the island?
Oh, 100% met all our expectations. Watched a lot of YouTube videos, the food. I had even asked my youngest, I'm like, do you want to check out the kids club? She's like, not really, because we had heard it's not anything by the ocean. It's just, a little inky splash pad, which is fine. But she's like, I want to go in the ocean instead. I'm like, okay, that's totally fine. So we didn't have a chance to check out Serenity Bay, but I'm like, I don't feel like I missed anything just because we got so much adult only time on the ship. So we had no complaints at all.
Love it. Well, then let's move into Lighthouse. And you already hinted that this would be your preference. So tell us about your day.
So we got off the ship around the same thing. They went and freaking Mickey waffles. I'm like, okay. So got off the ship around the same time, I think. They knew about the pier being like a 10, 12-minute walk. But my girls do competitive cheer. So they're already like pretty fit, I would say. My husband and I are active. I didn't think the walk was bad. And I had a stroke 5 years ago, so it affected my right side. And I'm like, it was a beautiful walk. Like we got there, I timed it in like 11 minutes and it was like 0.3 of a mile. Like it's really not bad. It was great. I love that the halfway point of the pier walk, like they have water stations if you get hot. I loved that they had photographers raised like, oh, look, why don't you stop here and get your picture taken in front of the ship? So we did that. I'm like, that was a nice touch. And by the time we got to the end, to the transport, there was a tram ready for us to take us over there. Like, and then that was like a 6-minute ride, I think. It was fine. I don't know why people complain so much, to be honest. I loved it. The girls loved the sand, the pink sand. Oh my goodness. They loved that there was more waves at the ocean on this time. We went to Pavilion 2, which is like, if you get there and go to the right, like nobody was there. So we got a good little spot. By the time we swam for like an hour, then it was the Fun in the Sun party. So we did that up at the pavilion, got to hang out with Chip and Dale and Goofy and play games and stuff, and then had lunch. Ribs again were amazing. Then we went to the Junkanoo party. That was fun. The parade. That was fun to watch. And then I think they wanted to meet Pluto. That was like one of the last characters they needed for their autograph. So we got in line real quick. And at that point, I think it was like 2:30, close to 3 o'clock. And they're like, are there any more characters coming up? I'm like, absolutely not. I think I noticed like, they don't really say it, but like they don't have characters out on the islands past like noon, 1 o'clock, if that, because it's so hot out there. So I explained that to them, but they were fine. It was good. But yeah, if they had to pick one or the other, they would say Lookout Cay all day.
Well, same question for Lookout then. And I think we knew the answer. How did that fall within your expectations for the island?
Oh, 100% met our expectations. Loved it. I loved everything about it. Yeah, even my husband would say I would go back to Lookout Cay in a minute. So whatever ship we decide to, we got to make sure that Lookout Cay is our destination on there.
Love it. That beach is so spectacular.
Full.
You can totally see why Disney picked it, even if it's not as convenient potentially as Castaway, but that beach is just...
And I saw plenty of people like stopping and asking crew members which way to go, and they're very helpful and they're very hands-on. So I'm like, I get it, I guess, but I'm also like, it's Disney knows what they're doing. They really do. Trust the process. Trust that they, like you said, they picked out this place for a reason,
Love it. Well, then why Lookout over Castaway?
I think it's because, the tides are better there. There's more waves in there. When you go to Castaway, it's very calm and it's not as deep. So the girls are very adventurous. So they like to swim out more and be in the waves. So that was really it. They did see a big difference between the sand between the two islands. You're like, oh my gosh, this sand is amazing. Like we even bought one of the magnets from the souvenir stores because they handcraft the magnets and put the sand in there. I'm like, that's pretty cool. So they love that.
What is something you would do differently going back to either of these islands for next time?
I don't really have to do the 5K again because it was so hot when we went in July. We're like, if we're going to do the 5K, we need to do it in the morning versus in the afternoon. So because of that, saying that we've already done the 5K, we missed out on all the morning characters by the island. We didn't really get a picture with them with Mickey and the Jeep and Jack Sparrow. We missed all that because we were like, okay, we're setting our stuff down, we're going to go do the 5K and be back, you know what I mean? So but it's not like a huge regret, but that's just something I would do differently. Just enjoy Castaway, enjoy the girls taking pictures with the characters when we get there next time. And then the Stingray adventure, hope we get to do that next time too. And then Lookout, we didn't plan any excursions. We just wanted to enjoy the island, enjoy the Bohemian culture, honestly. I think next time if we do Lookout, I know they do arts and crafts and stuff like that and have a history of it. So I think we would do that next time.
Love it. Any other notes from the islands before we head back to the ship?
Honestly, I feel like people, when they look at Lookout Cay, they're like, oh, that looks like a long walk. And it does. If you're on the ship and you can see it from your room, which we could see it, I'm like, it does look long, and it can be intimidating. I'm like, it's really not bad, guys. If you can walk from the back of the ship, from the aft, all the way up to the forward ship, twice, that's the same thing that you would do going down the pier, honestly.
Awesome. Well, sadly, all sailings have to end and you return to Fort Lauderdale. How was your disembarkation process?
So easy. We had the 8:15 breakfast time in Enchanted Garden. Said goodbye to our servers and the families that we made friends with. We were off. We just took our luggage off the ship with us. But that was still, by the time, I think one of the families behind us, they had left their luggage out the night before, which is fine. But even when they got off the ship with us, we're like, oh, our luggage is already there. So you can't really go wrong with either carrying your luggage off the ship or just setting it out the night before. So it was great. I got on the shuttle, took us straight to the airport. That was a 10-minute ride. We had an 11:30 flight, got on the flight and came home. I had to rush a little bit because I coached cheer. So we had choreography that day. I'm like, okay, get home, drop you guys off. I have to go to work. But it was wonderful. Very smooth.
Love it. Well, we've got a couple more questions before we take it out. Christy, did you have something?
I do. I have a question. A very important question. Critical question. Which day was Churro Waffle Day on this cruise?
I think it was our sea day.
Okay.
Lookout. It was either Lookout or sea day.
Did you have any other notable cast interactions you wanted to highlight?
I loved our entire servers in our stateroom house. Jacob and Mark were amazing. From day one, we left them great reviews. Ingrid, our stateroom host, she was amazing. Just being able to talk to the crew members, even from the bartenders on the ship. Jacob, our lead server, I'm like, how long have you worked here? And he's like, oh, this is my 10th year. I'm like, with Disney Cruise Line or just with Dream? He's like, no, just with the Dream. I'm not going on any other ship. I'm like, oh, why is that? He's like, Dream's my home. He was from India. He gets to go home maybe once or twice a year. He's supporting his sister going to medical school. He's like, no. He's like, I got offers to work on the Destiny and the Adventure and stuff. But he's like, no, the Dream's my home. I'm like, I love that. And then getting to know the bartenders and stuff. One was from South Africa. And she was like, I only get to see my kids every November. And I'm like, that's amazing. So I'm like, I think people need to realize these crew members do a lot and they sacrifice a lot. When we did our sit down breakfast, that was the Nassau day. I think we went to Royal Palace, for breakfast. And at that time, Stitch, by the way, is the longest line for character meet and greet. I had no idea. Oh my God. That was a 35-minute wait. And so I was in line with my youngest waiting. And so my husband was like, I'm going to go ahead and get a table at 9:30 to get in before they close at 10. I'm like, great. So by the time I'm entering in with my youngest, it's 9:54, 9:55. A crew member is like, hey, we're about to close the kitchen. I'm like, oh, it's fine. My husband had already ordered. He's like, oh, okay, go in. And then I see a family coming up behind me and they're like, did the same thing. Like, hey, we're about to close the kitchen. And they just were just so rude. And I'm like, I'm so sorry that you guys had to deal with that. And I'm like, I feel like I should tip you right now. But they go above and beyond, treat them with respect. Like they're doing everything they can in their power to be magical and do all the things. And they sacrifice a lot.
Love it. Was there anything that you missed out on the dream that is a must do for next time?
Yes, I feel like I wanted to do the trivia so bad, and we just didn't have time to do it. I would do the trivia and then the how to draw the animators class. I always wanted to do both of those things. It just didn't work out this time, but it's not like a huge miss, just something I would add to my list next time.
Awesome. And you had mentioned that you pre-purchased the photo package earlier in the show. Did you find you got value for that?
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. I think by like the end of like day 2, I'm like, oh, because when you're in your room, you can check and look. They show you all the photos and stuff, which is awesome. So I'm like, we only have 100 photos from 2 days. I'm like, okay. And then I ran into one of the families. I'm like, girl, I already have like 350 photos. I'm like, how? We're on day 2. I'm like, I got to step up my game and get my money's worth. But I didn't get near as enough pictures as they did. But I'm like, it's definitely worth it. And if you buy it online before you get on the ship, you get saved like 10%, I think, something like that. So you save a little bit of money.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can save the 10%. And if you pre-purchase your photo package and you find that you do not get enough pictures and you no longer want the unlimited package, you can get a refund on that before you get off the ship.
Well, our last question for you, Amanda. What is next for you and your family?
Okay, so I was thinking about next July, like we talked about. My husband really said that he wanted to try a new ship, the Destiny, I think, because I had already written it down. But I'm like, let's do the end of July again. And if you went on the Fantasy or the Destiny for the same amount of time, I think, for 5 nights, it's like a $400 or $500 difference. That's really it. So I'm like, we might as well just do the Destiny then at that point. And we have a placeholder, so got to use that too.
Love it. Well, both are fantastic ships, and you will have a fantastic sailing regardless of which one you choose.
Yes.
Well, Amanda, thank you again so much for coming on and sharing you and your family's experience on the Disney Dream.
Thank you guys for having me. It was nice to meet you both.
Absolutely. You as well. Christy, where can our listeners follow you?
You can find me all over the internet at Pack Your Pixie Dust. If you'd like to work with me in the future, you can use the Work with Christy link that Lake has put in the show notes. Lake, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram and YouTube at MouseGen, and you can always follow the podcast at DCL Podcast on Instagram and Facebook, or find more information at dclpodcast.com. But that is going to wrap up the show. Thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you next time on the DCL Podcast. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Well, that's going to wrap up our show. Once again, we want to thank Amanda for coming on and sharing her family's sailing on the Disney Dream. If you're enjoying the show, we greatly appreciate you leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. We'd also like to thank our Patreons who help make this show happen each and every week for us. You too can help support the show by visiting us at patreon.com/DCL Podcast. Whether you're boarding a cruise, enjoying a trip to the parks, or adventuring outside of Disney, on behalf of myself, Christy, and Steve, we want to wish you smooth sailing and safe travel. See you next time on the DCL Podcast.
The DCL Podcast is not affiliated with the Disney Cruise Line, Walt Disney Company, Adventures by Disney, or Run Disney. All of the opinions expressed on our shows are those of the hosts and the guests who appear on the show. If you have any questions about any of these products, please contact the Walt Disney Company.